It is the evening of the 9th of May 2019. PBE Daily. This is the Point Blank Ivumbi podcast for early mornings and late evenings and late nights. I am Point Blank Ivumbi. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today ended later than I expected it to because actually I kind of contemplated about it when I got to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. hit and I told myself, Self, we have to finish this short before we leave the office. And it's simply because when you get to a certain point where you could actually see the finish line so closely, I think it's important for you to actually see it all the way to the finish line and finish what you were working on, so that when you come back in the morning, you're very excited about it. And when I finished the specific shot, I was looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I'm happier with the turnout and the way it plays out. This is actually, I'm very, very glad it looks the way it looks. So, treated myself. Had one cold one, added one more on top of it, and I was glad about it. Made my way home, safe and sound, and I'm always glad when I get home. And when I left the office space, I left in a happy place because it just means when I walk into that place tomorrow morning, I'll feel like a billion, and I'll make more things happen that are more magical. And the thing that's actually more fulfilling is because that particular shot of animation was, I really was worried about making sure the emotion was evoked properly by the character that I was animating. And I think we did good. I firmly believe we did good. Based upon that, tomorrow we make more magic happen. For you guys, it's going to take a little bit of a while before it happens. But seeing as it's Thursday night for my 254 people, my other hustle is taking shape today because it's Thursday, so it means there's a show called Lit 360. If you get the chance, check out the show. If you don't get the chance to see it today, you can watch the rerun on Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Dropping knowledge every step of the way. I try as much as possible to put information in perspective for a lot of guys. Now, this evening, I was jumping all over the place because I'm about to finish the audiobook, uh, A History of the World by Andrew Marr. Kind of sad about that because it was the narrator of the audiobook is really, really good. Like he put things in perspective rather perfectly. And it made me think about other things based upon the guys I've met in the evening today and some of the stuff they told me. And unfortunately, I was told some sad news because there's a young man who decided to take their own life. And I didn't like the idea of that. 24 years old and already tapping out. I don't get suicide. I know a person who was taking suicide before, as far as my immediate family, but it led to this particular topic, and the particular topic is going to be lighter than the weight it came in with. Here's my topic: we need to embrace taking an L. There's a bliss that comes from failure. We only notice it once we pick ourselves up and succeed. Here's my theory: an author who I thoroughly enjoyed listening to his audiobooks after my one tiff, or should I say, one of my darkest periods. The one author who did good with me, I'd have to say, is a gentleman known as Robert Greene. The first book my older brother, my oldest brother actually, the first book he ever gave me to sink my teeth into was the 48 Laws of Power. And the 48 Laws of Power, the creepy thing was, I'd just come out of a dark relationship, and as I'm listening to the audiobook, chapter 10 described that relationship to a T. If you have 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene in the house, I want you to go straight to chapter 10 and I want you to really read every step of that particular chapter. Maybe it'll put things in perspective and you'll start seeing people in your lives who are these kind of people. I'm not saying it's a blanket blame on everybody, but these creatures exist. And I'm calling them creatures because this is the one person who, I don't care if it's judgment day and I'm told I have to reconsider certain things, I'm going to hold a grudge for a little bit longer because, no, they're not in my immediate present or my immediate past, but the fact that they felt like they did no wrong always bugged me. But distance always makes sure that we actually get to thrive a little bit more. Now, moving away from that, the thing about the taking an L that we have to take into consideration is this: every person who walks into your life leaves a mark of either positivity or negativity, depending on what you learn from them. Like, even in my darkest relationship, I still learned one rule that I actually use every day, and I hinted on it yesterday evening. Write it down, get it done, mark it out. I got that from that relationship. So even the darkest people you meet, you need to nitpick the stuff that are of value to you, because maybe it's not them who are supposed to be the people who give you something, but it's the information they'll pass to you from the experiences you have around them. And that was what I took from that situation. And when you fail, the immediate response is always to be down on yourself. And I get that. It's not to troubleshoot or to try fix the situation or to try find solutions around it, but it's to feel damp and to feel sad, to just rain on your own parade. But I'd like you to do this every time you have that situation where you're taking an L. Troubleshoot. For those who own PCs, you know what this term means. Whenever your machine starts acting a fool and you don't know what the problem is, you just hit the search button, and then you hit the words troubleshoot, and then you just have the machine look through its diagnostics and tell you what could be going right or wrong. Just troubleshoot the situation, because sometimes the evil that comes around you, or what you perceive as evil at the time, is the greatest lesson you could learn at the specific time. We take such lessons for granted because our emotions are involved. And the thing about the current emotional situation with most of the younger generation is this: I know it hurts emotionally, but as long as it doesn't physically break you, it means nothing. People are using words to a certain extent that makes them such weighty, powerful tools that even denies you the chance to go like, man, people can have opinions, man. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. And you move on from there because I listened to a certain interview that was happening from another piece of online entertainment that I enjoy. It's called Inside the Actor Studios. And the Inside the Actor Studio is basically they sit in this room, a lecturer sits down with a celebrity, and he does a Q&A with the celebrity, and students in the particular drama school get to hear the stories and solutions that these guys found and these ladies found in their specific lives. And it was Dave Chappelle who was going through it. And he was going through the interview, and he said he remembers the first time he bombed on stage. Now, for stand-up comedians, bombing means you got on stage, you said a few words, and they did not hit any form of humor whatsoever. People are booing, people are hating your guts because you're not entertaining them in those few seconds. It was instant gratification before instant gratification became a social staple. And he said nothing happened. Like, of course, he took an L, and it didn't break him. It didn't make him feel like he's a failure. It just told him, like, okay, tonight was not a good night. So you come back tomorrow and you make a better point about it. Even in the documentary called Omit the Logic, the story of Richard Pryor, they say the Sunset Strip, where he wears this red, flaming red suit, when he came on stage the first night, he bombed. He did not hit any joke that people enjoyed. He looked like he was rambling. He looked like he was not in the moment. And he apologized for it. And he said the next day, without charging people for a second time, he will do the show one more time and do it properly. And on the second night, he came in and he crushed it properly. Failure just makes you know what cues you're supposed to hit the next time you get in front of an audience. These are things you must consider. And the audience, sometimes it doesn't mean you have to be on a pulpit, doesn't mean you have to be a performer. It could be as simple as the next time you stand in front of your boss on a Monday review, because some of us get reviewed every week. I plan out a month, and then I live on a daily basis. I live 5 days at a time, and sometimes I live just one day at a time. Like the deadline I had for myself for Monday, if I didn't hit it on Monday, I'll try as much as possible to hit the Monday and the Tuesday deadline on Tuesday evening. If I don't do that, it gets carried forward. And I'll keep on pushing myself like that until I hit the mark that I enjoy. There's nothing more fulfilling than opening a page of deadlines that you had, that you listed down, and you're looking through that list and the stuff you've highlighted saying, I've completed these. It's the best feeling in the world. But now think about it in an emotional sense. It pains to be rejected. It pains to be let down. It pains to even be told you're unworthy. However, it pains even more when you take it to heart to the extent where you tap out. Tapping out means the thing is still around your neck and around your throat. And let's take it to another level. We look at mixed martial arts and the MMA and the different tournaments that come with it. Whenever it comes to a wrestling match, even when a person is being strained at a specific spot, the strain doesn't stop. It keeps on going because the person is still holding on to that specific position and keeps on squeezing it and squeezing it, then you tap out. Here's the difference. As far as life goes, the squeeze is that moment where you're in the presence of that situation. Then you're given a few words, and then that person always automatically leaves. They never stay on the strain. The strain now stays with you because you're not the one who's actually suppressing yourself even more. How you get out of that funk is to really go sit down and with a fresh pair of eyes, look at it. If I may, with sober eyes. I say that because I'm seeing a lot of people turn to substance abuse, and when I say abuse, I mean this. When you indulge way past the level where it's fun, it looks like it's necessity, that's abuse. When you start finding ways to be in a haze instead of having more sober moments to actually converse with people, that's where it gets concerning to a person like me. So when I see my people actually take that and just decide, you know what, I'm just going to be in this moment and not deal with that which needs to be dealt with, guess what? When you come back to sober, it's still going to be there. It's literally why, testament of this particular night, I went out and had a drink when I was happy because I was glad I fulfilled something. And even from sitting down having that conversation with myself at the bar by myself, like the super antisocial, I sat down by the bar by myself and I thought about it and I realized this is it. This is the guy I am. This is my victory lap. So I tell you what, take the time to allow yourself to take those L's and be victorious on those L's. Thank you so much for listening tonight. I'm Point Blank Ivumbi. We're going to check this out tomorrow morning. I'll try my level best because it's Friday coming up and I want to make sure I make this thing consistent. Even over the weekend, I'll still do one in the morning and one in the evening because I'm a workaholic. I'm a workhorse. Bear with me. There's no relationship, so I can do whatever I want. And it's fun that way. So check you out tomorrow morning. Enjoy whatever you learn from this. But if you want to, please feel free to hit me up on social media. Point Blank Ivumbi on every platform. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying me on every single platform as far as the podcatchers are concerned. There's 7 different ways you could listen to me. Go through it, listen to it. If you feel you have something to share with me, I would love to hear it. I would love to be proven right or wrong. Either way, I get to learn from my peers. You be good, God bless, and in the words of me, myself, and I, be Caesar or be nothing at all. God bless you.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.